Body language. Body language is the process of communicating through nonverbal signals. It includes things like our posture, facial expressions, gestures, and more. The meanings of these all vary from culture to culture, but we instinctively read body language and interpret it as some expression of moods, feelings, or intentions.
Body language is essential in human communications. It consists of 65% to 90% in every conversation. Just imagine, babies can't talk. How do they communicate? They use body language. Cry, this lady is touching her leg. What does it mean? Even dogs have body language too. It's interesting, isn't it? Find out more. Body language constitutes a large part of human communication. In fact, research suggests that 55% of communication is based on body language, the nonverbal messages people convey through postures. Body language, sometimes called nonverbal communication, is an important tool. The way you communicate through body language can determine your success in everything from relationships to your career. Up to 93% of communication can be nonverbal. Paying closer attention to the messages you send through body language can help you succeed.
1. Use open body language. This means you have an assertive handshake. Sit calmly, but give off energy and seem to be in control of all movements. 2. Identify emotional body language. You can determine emotions by paying close attention to nonverbal cues. However, you also need to put in context what is going on as you spot the emotional signs. 3. Avoid blocking. If you are giving a presentation or a speech, you want to be as open as possible to your audience. So, you need to remove the physical barriers that will limit your ability to connect. 4. Spot when someone is lying. Body language can betray liars. They may be able to hide their lies in their words, but their bodies often tell a different story. Liars are less likely to maintain eye contact and their pupils may appear narrow. 5. Think about spacing. Different cultures have different ideas about the physical space you should give to another person. 6. Identify your body language patterns. Make a conscious effort to think about what your body does in different interactions with different people. A mirror can be useful for examining facial expressions and posture, but especially you want to pay attention to what your body is doing when you are angry, nervous, or happy.
Using gestures to communicate. Use hand gestures when speaking. Experts believe that people who are great speakers are more likely to use hand gestures during conversations or presentations. And they say hand gestures give listeners greater confidence in the speaker. Move throughout the room. Don't only move your hands. Great speakers move around. They point at slides, and they don't keep their distance from people. They are animated. Spot emblems. These are gestures that are the equivalents of words. Emblems can be either passive or they can be accepting. Remember that some emblems will have different meanings to different cultures. Have good posture. If you go to, say, a job interview, and you have bad posture, you will probably register more poorly to the interviewer. Mirror another person. Mirroring is when one partner mirrors the posture of the other partner. By copying the actions of the other person, you will make them feel connected to you. Emphasize your point with gestures. Have more than one gesture. This will help you better get your message across. If you want to make sure you are not misunderstood, repeat both gestures when you speak the idea aloud. Avoid gestures that show nervousness or insecurity. Keep a check on other body language signals. Watch for wandering eyes, hands picking at fluff on your clothing, and constant sniffling.
Interpretation of facial expressions determine the visual dominance ratio. When talking to someone, you should try to be the visually dominant person to show confidence. This relationship is determined by determining who is looking the other person's eyes the most and who is looking farthest. Use eye contact to send messages. The eyes are the windows to the soul. You can learn a lot about a person by paying attention to the way they use their eyes. Understand affect displays. Pay special attention to facial expressions that convey emotions, especially if they conflict with the words a person is saying. They can help you understand a person's real emotions. Avoid the defensive. Certain body language gestures, including facial expressions, communicate defensiveness, not confidence. Thus, they make you appear less in control. Watch for disengagement. If you are presenting, you want people to engage. If you're the person watching the presentation, you want to look engaged. There are signs you can look for that indicate a commitment or lack of it.
How to read body language. Study the eyes. Gaze at the face. Body language touching mouth or smiling. Pay attention to proximity. See if the other person is mirroring you. Observe the head movement. Look at the other person's feet. Watch for hand signals. Examine the position of the arms.
Nonverbal communication can play 5 roles. Repetition. It often repeats and reinforces the message you are making verbally. Contradiction. This can contradict the message you are trying to convey, thereby indicating to your listener that you may not be telling the truth. Substitution. It can replace a verbal message. For example, your facial expression often conveys a much more vivid message than words ever can. Compliment. This can add or supplement your verbal message. As a boss, if you pat an employee on the back in addition to congratulating them, it can increase the impact of your message. Emphasis can accentuate or underline a verbal message. Feeding the table, for example, can emphasize the importance of your message.
Tips: how to read body language. Once you've developed your abilities to manage stress and recognize emotions, you'll start to become better at reading the nonverbal signals sent by others. It's also important to pay attention to inconsistencies. Nonverbal communication should reinforce what is being said. Is the person saying one thing, but their body language conveying something else? For example, are they telling you yes while shaking their head no? Look at nonverbal communication signals as a group. Don't read too much into a single gesture or nonverbal cue. Consider all of the nonverbal signals you are receiving, from eye contact to tone of voice and body language. Taken together, are their nonverbal cues consistent or inconsistent with what their words are saying? Trust your instincts. Don't dismiss your gut feelings. If you get the sense that someone isn't being honest or that something isn't adding up, you may be picking up on a mismatch between verbal and nonverbal cues.
If you like this video, please click like, subscribe and leave a comment to support me.